Greetings, saints. I make this clip on this day, the 9th of October, 2020. I am making mention of the date because this message seems to have a time frame. It is bound by a time frame. I pray, as always, that the Spirit of God will quicken the words I am using so that He will bring an awareness to you about the urgency of the matter. Now, child of God, the strength of a warrior alone is not enough to give a warrior or an army victory in battle. But the warriors need to know what they ought to do. They need to know the approach they ought to use, the weapons they ought to use, and the specific place where they ought to engage the enemy from. It is stated in the scriptures that the children of Israel never went for war without first consulting with the sons of Issachar. And the Bible gives a reason. These were few in number, but they knew what Israel ought to do. And it is their counsel that gave the generals of Israel a war plan and ideas concerning whether they should attack the enemy or not. Now, I give you counsel, child of God, as one of those who by the grace of God has been called to be a servant of God's army or warriors. And I counsel you now, it is not time to attack the enemy. It is not time to go out attacking the enemy. Rather, this is what ought to be done. The warriors of God ought to strengthen what is left. Many of you have been in challenging times and you are not fit to engage in battle. You need to seek the presence of God so that the healing waters of heaven will refresh you. You need to seek the presence of God. You need to seek the face of God so that you are restored, so that you are replenished, so that your wounds are dressed up. It is the presence of God that will prepare you for your next battle, child of God. For the Bible says, as the deer panteth for the water brooks, my soul panteth for you. There is an angle where it is panting for the water brooks to simply drink and quench the thirst. But this is the other reason why deers pant for the water brooks. When a predator is pursuing it, it is only the water that can make its smell, its natural smell, to disappear. And when it enters the waters, then it has a higher chance of surviving because the predator will no longer be pursuing it by reason of its smell. Child of God, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. And when the righteous run to it, they are safe. Child of God, whoever calls upon the name of the Lord now shall be saved. This is the counsel heaven is giving you. Do not attack. Rather, hide in the Lord. Be refreshed by the presence of God. Let your wounds be healed. I saw young men and women, they wanted to engage the enemy. But when I looked at them, this was this morning, the Spirit of the Lord had carried me to see the battlefield now and to see various fronts. These young men and women wanted to fight the enemy, but they did not know where the enemy was, and they did not know which path to take. Beloved, it is in the presence of God that you will be reminded and you will be told